Hope everybody's enjoying the fabulous lunch. I want to welcome you all to the EDC's annual stakeholder luncheon, the second one we've had in 13 years. So please feel free to keep eating through the entire presentation, but we're going to start now. The program's going to go as follows. You also have an agenda. But I'm going to provide some opening remarks about the EDC and the operation. But like last year, the bulk of the time is going to be spent with you listening to 9 different entrepreneurs tell their story about their business and a little bit about how we provided some support to them over time. I'll provide a short wrap-up, and the goal is to have you out of here at 10 o'clock. So as a reminder, EDC was formed in 2003 to focus on the creation and expansion of high-impact heritage economy businesses. The kind of businesses that bring human capital and financial capital resources from around the world to our communities. Creating a continual stream of successful and new diversified businesses that are rooted in our community generates sustaining vitality for good and comfortable times. Our job is to increase the success and the growth rate of these high-impact Iowa businesses that will fuel our economy in the future. And while many of you think of EDC as an organization that just works with startups, over 13 years, we pretty much work equally with startups, early stage and later stage companies. Some companies formed over 50 years ago. The task of growing a company from idea to reality, from few employees to many, from regional to global, from unknown to established brand, takes many, many years, in some cases decades. Different hurdles present themselves along the way. Each business's ability to handle that adversity, take advantage of opportunity, defines its long-term success. The amount of success and the speed with which it can be achieved can be significantly impacted by engaging experienced talent throughout the growth process. Leadership, talent, and quality execution is at the core of every successful enterprise. EDC was formed to provide this season. I've done that for talent for Iowa businesses to rely upon during their journey. The EDC team is selected to fill academic gaps and bring real-world experience to those in need. The team now has an average tenure of over 9 years, learning from hundreds of entrepreneurial engagements and bringing a wealth of experience to each opportunity. When you couple that experience with each team member's journey prior to EDC, the team brings over 80 years of marketing research and strategic planning experience, 75 years of research and development and product launch experience bringing more than 500 new products and services to the market on a national and global scale, 80 years of marketing communications, planning and execution, 50 years of manufacturing operations experience, 75 years of financial planning and budgeting, 70 years of team development leadership, and over 25 years of capital raising, capital development. So over our 13 years, we've also gained significant experience in the broad range of and related products. So we worked in medtech, pharmaceuticals, devices, procedures, software, services. We worked in ag tech, biofuels, nutrition, chemicals, crop production. We worked in edtech, teaching tools, procurement, process improvement. We worked in information technology with cybersecurity, data centers, communication systems, and architecture. We worked in consumer goods, foods, beverages, distilled spirits, wines, beauty aids, jewelry, lotions, lip balms, nutraceuticals, performance aids, safety products, convenient products, and repellents. The basic sector manufacturing side, we work with paving machines, concrete pouring accessories, writing instruments, industrial equipment, injection molding, tooling, sports and fitness equipment, safety and rescue equipment, and housing materials, and the list goes on. If I've learned anything over 13 years, it's that to provide support that the business can use and actually will use, the support has to be found in real experience. What I've also learned is that experience alone falls short of providing maximum impact. Creative group performance, experience, and knowledge must be transferred in a way which is effectively implemented. Hearing advice and not acting upon it ultimately allows that value to be washed down to the foundation of effective coaching is not just what it says, but ultimately what is effectively implemented. So in addition to the team's experience, we developed what has become highly effective engagement methodology. Every business has unique needs these days and in time. And those needs are made even more unique by human dynamics of the leadership that must act upon them. So we start with two critical assessments. First, we assess the business model, what it has, and what it needs to maximize its success. This assessment report card is based on a book I wrote some time ago, a copy of which we put in your table. And if you would all be so kind, somebody take it when you leave today. You can buy it if you want more. If somebody take it and put it in the hands of somebody that can use it, that's something to go with it. So we offer that to you and you pass it on. The second assessment we do is a more of a personality profile assessment, where we assess the business leadership. For this, we use the Caliper profile system. Many of you may be familiar with it. It's one of the top programs in the country. It's a tool I've used now for building teams for over 30 years. I've got experience in over 2,000 assessments. That program, it really helps us better understand the entrepreneurs. It helps them better understand their strengths and weaknesses that relate to leading their company. With a clear understanding of both the leadership and the business situation, working with each team, we identify opportunities for growth, we help prioritize them, we assist in building a plan to succeed. And finally, and as it turns out, we learned over time, most importantly, we engage hands-on in the execution of that plan. We don't just say, well, here's the plan, to execute it, tell us how to do it. We get involved, we put our hands on the business. Sometimes the situation requires more extensive hands-on, where we actually become part of their team, or we're actually part of their staff for periods of time, 6 months or a year. Sometimes there's much less, but in each case we engage in a manner that is tailored to the overall situation at hand. We do this year over year with each business as they grow. At EDC, there's no graduating, there's no time limit, there's no program end, there's only accelerating and the ability to rely on the team at EDC every step of the way. Now, to date, we've worked with over 900 Iowa businesses, and for those interested, roughly a third have been female-led, and 2/3 male-led. Also of interest is that we found we have worked with pretty much average age of somewhere between 30 and 40, which is right in line with national statistics. We make every effort to track the economic impact these companies that we serve provide for the state. We collect information annually. And while we're not able to get information from everyone we serve, to date we've been able to collect quite a bit of significant information. So through 2016, the businesses we have supported have raised and employed over $350 million in capital. They've generated over $1 billion in increased revenue growth, created over 2,000 new career jobs, generated over $400 million in increase in new wages, and have been referred to Iowa vendors thousands of times, ultimately creating an overall economic impact of over $2 billion. Now, over this same time frame, EDC has in and of itself raised $10.5 million to fund our operation and serve the entrepreneurs of Iowa, providing you, the state, an economic return of almost $200 to one, and making this operation is one of the top programs in the country. We're proud of the statistics, but we're more proud of the impact we've been able to have on people's lives that have created those numbers. Realizing dreams when it comes to creating and growing companies is hard work. And as a community, we owe a debt of gratitude to all those that take that risk on a daily basis. If you're the founder of an entrepreneurial business, stand up right now. Stand up. Up, 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 up. Anybody knows who started a business, it's not easy. When I started, a number of them, and people asked us, our clients, well, does this get easier? I said, never gets easier. It just gets a little more straightforward, but there's always things you miss. In 2005, in our second full year of operations, an entrepreneur walked through the door asking for help to grow his distillery, winery, and event center. And for those early days, Cedar Ridge Distilling and Vineyards has grown to be a favorite event location, but most importantly, a producer of some of the world's top distilled spirits. Last week alone, being named Distillery of the Year by the American Distilling Institute. To kick off a great list of presenters, please welcome Jeff Flint.
So thanks, Kurt. It's an honor to be included in the program today. Thank you. As Kurt mentioned, I'm Jeff from Cedar Ridge Vineyards, Cedar Ridge Winery, Cedar Ridge Distillery. I know many of you are familiar with Cedar Ridge, at least at some level, so I'll try to share some new information with you today as we go. I've been involved in a few different ventures over the years, including Liveware 5 back in the 90s and more recently with Volta. But Cedar Ridge was different. It was truly passion-driven, and it was only ever meant to be a lifestyle business with my wife, Lori, and I. When I look back at the different ways in which I've been involved with startup businesses over the years, I can sum up my own advice to my children in one simple sentence. Chase your passion, but keep your day job, at least for a while, truly. And I want to expand on that a bit. When Bruce and I started Liveware 5, we had big ambitions. And that experience shaped our careers in a very positive way. But we quit our day jobs to start a business that had no customers and really no product or service that was even ready to sell to a customer. I remember my mom looking at me and Bruce and saying, "Look at Bruce, he's young, he can start over again, but you." He would agree that she said that. Always very encouraging, my mother. So when we chose to start Cedar Ridge, we kept our day jobs. We bought some land in a good location, we mapped out the vineyards, planted the vines, built the trellising, watered them, mowed the grounds, you name it, all during nights and weekends. Which I think brings me to another observation about entrepreneurialism. It's not for everyone. If you value the free time you have on nights and weekends, entrepreneurialism may not be for you. It takes incredible courage, but also incredible sacrifice. Anyway, getting back to Cedar Ridge, some of the things you may not know. If I polled 100 citizens of the corridor about what is Cedar Ridge, I'd wager that at least 90 of them would say it's that winery off the Swisher exit on 380. And that's a good thing because that means our marketing from many years ago was very effective. But what you may not know is that Cedar Ridge is primarily a distillery. Most of our revenues come from whiskey. We make 4 barrels a day and should be able to produce 8 barrels a day by this time next year. That's more whiskey than all the other distilleries in Iowa put together right now. And most of our revenues at Cedar Ridge come from out of state. We ship whiskey from California to Massachusetts and from Canada to the Caribbean. Our first container of whiskey is headed to Europe this summer. Also, we expect House File 607 to pass through the state Senate in the next few days. That will allow us to pour cocktails from our own spirits effective July 1st. Every state around us already has this right, and we've been lobbying for it for years. So hopefully you'll be able to come out and enjoy a cocktail very soon. As Kurt mentioned last week at the annual American Distilling Institute conference in Baltimore, Cedar Ridge was selected from among 1,300 craft distilleries as the 2017 Distillery of the Year. I'm very lucky. I literally pinch myself to be entrepreneurial by nature, to have 8 generations of family history in the wine and spirits business, to have clearly identified my passion, to have jumped into the business right before craft distilling really heated up. I know I'm very lucky, and I'll take that too, along with the hard work. From a business perspective, possibly the only thing harder than being an entrepreneur is devoting all day, every day to supporting, fostering, and assisting entrepreneurs. So much research shows the importance of developing a healthy small business environment in your region. It's vital to the general economic welfare of a region, and we're very fortunate here to have a resource like EDC. These guys keep entrepreneurs from jumping off tall buildings every day. They really do. And I've been a client of EDC since before it was called EDC. Al Beach ran some group that John Dusek probably gave free space to down the bottom of the Armstrong building many, many years ago. I believe that entity became EDC after they recruited Kurt to run it. So I've been a fortunate recipient of EDC's assistance since the beginning. And to this day, I'm at EDC every month or two for something, whether it is a one-on-one with Kurt or Julie, or as part of a group session over lunch with other developing businesses. Our entire community benefits when small businesses benefit. The rising tide floats all ships, and so we know that's why most of you are here. I'm proud to be from the corridor and from Iowa. We brag about that every day in our own marketing, and I'm especially grateful to you all for the support you've provided both to EDC and to Cedar Ridge. Thank you. I think the next float in our parade today is David Gerald from AES Corporation. And David, where are you? All right, come on up. I've been through his operation in Cedar Rapids, and it's amazing. I hope you all get to see it.
I get my glasses on. So, good afternoon, and thank you for allowing me to tell a little bit about our business. I founded AES Corporation in 1991 because I believe I could provide the talent that many organizations are lacking in, and a lot like Jeff, I enjoy being self-employed. I grew up with, my father was self-employed. It's what I grew up with, and it's what I'm really comfortable with. AES Corporation provides innovative engineering solutions to manufacturing clients across the country, including multiple facilities of Intel, Procter & Gamble, Danfoss Power Solutions, Kraft Heinz, Nestle, and many, many more. Since starting, we've grown it to 20 employees with locations in Cedar Rapids and Chandler, Arizona. The current organization includes very talented engineers and business professionals. It's a great team, and I'm very proud of them. There's a gift basket on each of your tables with some of the products from a few of our customers. So please make sure that disappears just like Kirk's book disappears. And I would actually take Kirk's book if I didn't already have a copy of it. It's that good. During the journey, we took AES from a single person company to a professional organization, multi-location operation. We encountered numerous challenges where we needed assistance in legal, financial, banking, and sometimes someone just to talk to. We're currently experiencing explosive growth, and we expect to double in the next year. EDC has helped us with finding the correct resources, all of which have been a good fit, and we consider them partners. I'd like to thank Kathleen Kleiman, Simmons Green, Steve Boyd of RSM, and John Prieskamp of Guarantee Bank, all of whom work for Kurt. So if you guys could just do a quick stand up. I'd just like to thank you. So I have to embarrass him a little bit. EDC helped guide us through one of the toughest situations in 20 years of business when a major client, Intel, went from 80% of our business in rapid decline to less than 20%. After discussions with Kurt, he suggested an ECOCOG loan, which is something I don't know if many of you heard about, but EDC takes care of that program. It's very good. And changing to a local bank that would support us. I would not be here talking to you without the assistance from Kurt and EDC. EDC has helped us in making better hires through their caliper process, which is the thing Kurt brought up. It's much easier to identify the person, identify the traits before you hire them. Then you go back into the calipers and go, oh, that's why this isn't working. I recommend that process. We do it for all hires now, not just sales hires. EDC has always answered the phone when we called. There were many times I called Kurt while traveling across the nation, sometimes at late hours, asking his advice. And as an entrepreneur, small business, that's needed. And I thank Kurt for putting up with me. Having a resource like EDC has been critical to our success. In closing, I'd like to thank all of you for making EDC available to us. Now let me welcome Dr. Francis Johnson to the stage.
Thank you. It's great to be here today and to tell you a little bit about Viewpoint Molecular Targeting's entrepreneurial journey. We are a biopharmaceutical company that is headquartered at the UI Bioventures Center in Coralville, Iowa, and we have developed a treatment for a deadly skin cancer called metastatic melanoma. You may not be aware that melanoma is the most rapidly increasing cancer in the world today. So we co-founded Viewpoint in 2008 with Dr. Michael Schultz, Mr. Hayward Coleman, and me for the purpose of developing promising compounds that were coming out of Dr. Schultz's lab for cancer treatment. That's a pretty lofty goal. It's very risky. Usually takes 7 to 10 years to develop a compound and hundreds of millions of dollars in pre-revenue investment. But we did it anyway. We did it anyway because we really believe that academic pursuits should lead to real products that improve people's lives. So we started, and our first project was in prostate cancer, and we thought it was pretty good, but it was immediately beat out by the competition, and it never got out of the university labs. So we regrouped. Our second project was in metastatic melanoma, and it really started to take off in 2013 when we got a Small Business Innovation Research Award from the National Cancer Institute. And that was a great day for our company, but there was a hitch, because that meant that the principal investigator had to be greater than 50% employed by the company. We all had our day jobs, and so none of the founders were able to do that. And we thought, well, we gotta take this money and we gotta do something to move this forward. So we partnered with an existing radiopharmaceutical company down in Houston, Texas. And we rapidly figured out that if Viewpoint was going to do what it wanted to do, we had to learn how to stand on our own. We made some mistakes. We got advice from people that were invested advisors, and we really didn't know how to establish our beachhead as a company. So we struggled along, and then in 2015, we got a second Small Business Innovation Grant. And the Iowa Innovation Corporation gave us some matching funds for that grant. And we applied to the Iowa Economic Development Authority and got demonstration funds. And then I was able to leave my employment at the University of Iowa to establish our beachhead, which was our new laboratory in Coralville. Dr. Schultz stayed at the university to be our genius of the pipeline and to oversee the subcontracting work that had to use university resources to get by. And we were on our way. We made some headway, but it was slow. We were on the rapid part of the learning curve as entrepreneurs without a lot of mentorship. There was not a critical mass of companies like ours in our ecosystem. We also couldn't find investors in this area that had experience in the thorny path of pre-revenue pharmaceutical development. And so it was at a moment of kind of relative discouragement and stagnation that Kurt Nelson called Mike and I and said, would you like to come to the EDC Luncheon, exactly 1 year ago today. And I sat down there where you are, and I listened to the entrepreneurs. And I realized that we had a really great mentorship resource right here in our own backyard. And Kurt started to work with us on our pitch decks so that we could communicate better, not only to our colleagues, but potential investors about our value and what we were doing. He coached us on how to pay as much attention to our business development as we were paying to the scientific underpinnings of developing our product. And that really paid off. We were able to win 2 local competitions and honors, and then got some national recognition through the National Council on Entrepreneurship and Technology Transfer as one of the 35 best university startup companies of 2016. And now we're working on putting together our investigational drug application, and we're planning for clinical trials. And we're set to raise private capital. So this past year, the EDC, Kurt Nelson and the staff have been so helpful in so many ways, from the entrepreneur, gatherings and ability to pitch in front of people who would give us feedback, to setting us up with essential services, and then the one-on-one mentoring with us as founders. I think especially it was helpful to have someone worked with us to put together investor-ready materials so that a company like ours can take the next step and move up one level towards commercialization. So we really appreciated it. Thank you to all the EDC supporters for allowing this very precious resource to be here, and thanks in part to all of your contributions before this poised to hopefully get our new compound into a real person in 2017. Thank you. Next, I would like to welcome to the podium Tim Kirkwood.
That's a tough act to follow. What an excellent purpose, obviously. Nice work. So, I'm Tim Gunther with ClickStop, and we own and operate 5 brands from 2 locations, both in Urbana. That's Iowa. We are a team of about 140 people and have become known for having a workplace culture that is opportunistic and enjoyable. We often promote from within and take chances on individuals who have yet to experience many of the challenges they encounter in their roles. This strategy is aligned with my belief that a person with a strong purpose who is acting courageously can accomplish more than they thought was possible. I started ClickStop in 2005, and the abbreviated story looks like this. I was an independent sales rep working on commission in an 8-state territory in the Midwest. I sold building materials to retail lumber yards and large contractors. I traveled as much as I needed to, which was more than I wanted to. And being a rep had plenty of challenges and just wasn't for me. I saw no choice but to begin buying and reselling under my own brand. So in 2005, U.S. Cargo Control was launched as our first e-commerce store. Since then, we've added more brands selling reflective insulation, storage and organization products, and fasteners. U.S. Cargo Control makes up about 85% of our revenue and has grown into an industry leader, selling and manufacturing load securement products, moving supplies, and rigging and lifting equipment. Estimated revenue for 2017 is about $36 million. We'll complete the construction of our most recent expansion in May, and we're positioned for continued growth. We're focused on sustainability more than ever and plan to be part of this thriving business community for generations to come. So a lot has changed at ClickStop since we began utilizing the EDC, and here are some takeaways from my time working with Kurt and the team. 1, make tough decisions quickly. 2, it's my business. I can do with it what I want to, and whether it works or not, it's still mine. 3, growth is important. And 4, if you spend more money than you make, you'll have debt. Not all debt is bad, as long as you have a plan to grow and pay your bills. So all that's rocket science, right? But what they were really saying was be decisive, take ownership, be strategic, and execute really well. Our sessions were usually quite simple and reassuring. We left feeling like we were not alone. Here's what EDC did for me and for ClickStop. They stated the obvious and forced us to see it. They encouraged us to take action. They offered us their experience, and they cheered for us. So the most specific example of this, of these things, was helping us identify our unique selling proposition in 2014, which is we'll get you what you want when you need it. Right, Julie? This stems from our desire to say yes to customers and to grab opportunities in front of us each day. We didn't actively reach out to them prior to having this need. They saw a need and offered assistance. Completing this strategic planning process was pivotal for us and has been the foundation of our growth plans since we were able to articulate it in 2014. It has led us to packaging up a group of capabilities that our customers need and has created alignment internally. EDC is adding tremendous value to the corridor. There are eager entrepreneurs and a steady flow of new businesses here. By working closely with EDC, they'll have a better chance of becoming a sustainable business, adding to what is already a strong business community here in the corridor. For all these reasons, and on behalf of the ClickStop team, I say thank you to every donor, big and small, and every individual who's been part of their success. Thank you. It is my pleasure to announce the next presenter. Welcome to the stage, Tom Lutz with Report, and I know he wants us to all retaste and relax, but it's only lunch, so we can. Welcome, Tom.
My name is Tom Lutz, founder of Report. Well, I guess we're just about to found it. We are starting production this week and then the next week, and we'll become a real product here very soon. It's been all theory up until this point, working with EDC. But what Report is, it's a wine preservation stopper. So you open up a bottle of wine, what do you do with it if you don't finish that wine that night? It starts to deteriorate, it starts to go bad. Oxygen is why wine goes bad. So a couple of years ago, I was sleeping on the couch with a two-week-old baby and trying to let my wife rest. I've always liked product development and problem solving, and I need a good problem to solve. I know, a little nerdy, but that's what I was doing. And I don't know if we were just thinking about some wine that we just poured down the drain, or watched Shark Tank, or what we were doing, but I started thinking about wine. I thought, I'm a chemist. Wine goes bad because oxygen is present. There's got to be a better way of getting oxygen out of a bottle of wine than just the vacuum stoppers or other things that don't fit. So that kind of started the process. Over the next couple of weeks, I came up with an idea for a stopper that would actively remove oxygen from the bottle, kind of chemically, selectively absorb oxygen. So I ran out, filed a provisional patent, and kind of like Jeff was saying, I kind of kept going with my day job and other businesses and things. And I kind of started working on the side of this. I spent about a year just kind of developing it, making sure it worked. My wife was really encouraging, said, you have a lot of dumb ideas, this is probably the best one to do. Keep going with it, so that's what I did. Short story was, I didn't want to come up with a product beginning. So I spent a full year validating that it worked. And my provisional patent was kind of coming due, needed to file an actual application. So January 2016, like, well, if I'm gonna keep spending money on this, we might as well turn this into a real product and not be a hobby as much. So I walked into EDC's doors just randomly. I'm not from Cedar Rapids area originally, so I've been here about 4 years now. So at the time, I just did a little Google search and came up with EDC. Christy met me and said, sure, come on in, talk a little bit and see if it might be a good fit with us. And that's kind of where the process started with EDC for me. Through the last year and a half, we turned it from kind of a rough idea that we knew worked into a brand, into a product that kind of met certain attributes that we did some kind of validation and surveys out with people to see what the best form of the product would be. Is it a two-piece design? Is it a one-piece? That kind of thing. And that's really where we are today. So what's been amazing for me with EDC and the resources that they have is subject matter expertise. So whether it's in-house expertise, which is tremendous, but also, if I walked around most of these tables, there's been somebody that I've touched or been a part with in the last year and a half as a part of the EDC community. And that's been tremendous for me because, as a startup with limited resources, you can't afford to bring on a full-time marketing person or a full-time packaging engineer or whatever, what have you. And the culture and the community that's been established here is very unique, coming from a different area. I like to tell people that here, when you meet somebody new, it's kind of a, how can I help you? I mean, that's what they're saying to me. Where in a lot of other areas, even in the Midwest, it's, well, nice to meet you, what can you do for me? And that, I think, is very much a culture that's being generated here in the corridor. I think EDC is very much a part to that. For me, that access to information is tremendous. So I'm trying to do a lot of it kind of by myself, not hiring a lot of extra people while we're in this very startup phase. And that energy barrier to get to the right information. Stuff that I knew 5 years ago, and maybe that's how I would set up a business. I walk in and I talk to someone at EDC and they're saying, we have 50 different people that we talk to on a very routine basis, and this person tried this solution and it didn't work very well. Or maybe they didn't say who it is, but they say, we've experienced this situation and we did it this way and it worked really well. And instead of taking 48 hours of research time to figure that out, you get it in 30 seconds and kind of go down that path. So that quick time decision process tree, especially as an entrepreneur, where time really is probably the most valuable asset with money, of course. has just been tremendous. So I think the EDC as an overall resource is really tremendous. The financial support that many of you guys provide to make that happen, but also the connections, the input that you guys provide to businesses, even if you don't even know you're providing it, is really a tremendous asset that you all provide. I want to thank you for that, and hopefully this time next year we'll have a course sitting on your table for you to take home. So thank you. It's my pleasure to introduce the next speaker, Nikki Hinek.
Hello, my name is Nikki Hinek, and I am the founder of Dollop Beauty. Thank you so much for letting me share a little about my story and about founding my business. So I'm going to take you on my journey. I'm going to start with, I always knew I was an entrepreneur from childhood, but before I knew what the word was. So just beginning in childhood, I knew that I wanted to sell products and take a product into retail. So I kind of kept that vision and took it with me into college. And I entered the beauty business in college by supporting myself by working at a makeup counter. And upon leaving UNI, I knew that I wanted to stay in the beauty business. I loved it. So I took my expertise and I decided to launch in 2005 a freelance makeup artist business. So I ran a freelance makeup artistry business for 10 years here in the Midwest. I worked on feature films with celebrities, politicians, and commercials in photography. And I had a wonderful business, very successful, but I knew that I wanted to bring a product to market. But I was waiting for that time, that right time. And it happened one day on my way to work. That big idea happened. And actually, I was driving, and as a modern woman on the go, I was finishing my makeup in the car. And I was reaching in my purse, and if you've ever been in a woman's purse, it takes days to find things. And I'm reaching in there, looking for my lip gloss, and I couldn't find it. And I thought, that cliche, there has to be a better way. And I began trying to realize what that better way would be. And I drew upon my experience as a makeup artist and what we do as professional makeup artists. And that's using magnets to streamline your makeup kit. Because as a pro, you want a little kit so you can be versatile and flexible. And I began to think about, what if I could bring a new, inventive makeup case to the modern day woman? It would be revolutionary. So that's exactly what I did. I went home and I consulted my husband, and he's like, yes, I think that's a great idea. Now, what is it again? So I did research where everybody starts. You start doing research. I realized there wasn't anything else like it, and I began to design it. And within a few months, I had contracted a manufacturer, and I launched my product called the Dollop Case. And you can see it up here, but I'll just show you a quick little what it looks like. So this is the Dollop Case with your little magnet. So women can actually put their whole entire makeup look in this whole little case. I know, revolutionary, right? So I launched the product. Within a few months, we launched on a home shopping channel. We launched in all Von Maur stores. This was the very next logical step to me, like just go for it. So I started calling large retailers. I called every retailer I knew, and then I called them again, and then I obsessively called them and I stalked them. And finally, Von Maur took a chance on me and put me in every store in the United States. And that was big. But as the ball was rolling, what every entrepreneur wishes for, I had a few things going wrong. And that's where the EDC enters. See, because I'm a visionary and I'm an optimist, I don't like the small details. I don't really care about the numbers or the bottom line. I'm just a big vision planner. So I knew I needed help, right? It's like a pickup basketball game that comes to you, and they say, do you want to play? And I say, yeah, but you need a team. I knew I needed a pickup team. Somebody that could just seamlessly come onto the team, to know their positions, to help me to build a firm foundation, and that's what the EDC did for me. So I knew about the EDC, and I'm going to share this because I met Kurt while doing his makeup. And I remember him. I had been hired for as a makeup artist for one of his videos, and I remember him talking about his book. And I tucked that away because I knew that I was going to launch a product someday. And so I knew that I needed to reach out to the EDC, and what I found there was an invaluable resource. They helped me budget. They helped me look at the bottom line. They helped me scale. They helped me strategic plan, things that I didn't know anything about. There's been some really high points. There's been some low, like on every entrepreneur journey. And every time I reach those low points, I can turn to the EDC and know that they have the collective experience and professionalism and to help me. So here's an example. So I was walking through Sephora one day and I see the dollop case in Sephora, and that's a good thing, right? Except for it wasn't mine. And that's a low point in your business when you invent a product and you see it on the shelf and it isn't yours. And I called Kirk and I said, I'm heading to my attorney. I don't know what to do. And he goes, I'll go with you. At a moment's notice, within 15 minutes, he was sitting with me at my attorney and helping me work through the different options. This is an invaluable resource in our community. As a final thought, I travel quite a bit, and especially in the beauty business, they say, why Iowa? And I say, why not? So after explaining to people about the entrepreneur climate here, by the end of the conversation, I'm networking these people to resources here in Iowa, particularly at the EDC, because we have such an amazing team to help grow and a fertile ground to help grow businesses here. So as a final thought, I'd like to say thank you so much for being a part of equipping entrepreneurs with the necessary resources to help us win right here in Iowa. Because when entrepreneurs win and businesses do well, Iowa wins, right? Thank you so much. And now I'd like to introduce Alec Witters.
Hello, everyone. My story actually is nearly the opposite of how Nikki started. I never knew that I was going to be an entrepreneur. In fact, I was actually at dental school, and I was in my second year of dental school when I became incredibly frustrated that I couldn't use this device to be able to study. It seems so obvious to me. You know, millennials are using these devices over 3 hours every single day. It's their primary way that they consume information, yet I wasn't able to use it for studying when I was taking 25 credits a semester. It just made no sense at all to me. So I called up the publishers, thinking this would be very obvious to them and I could help them work on it. And they immediately told me, I wouldn't want to study on a phone. It sounds stupid. Who would want to be using these devices to study? And so no one else would do it. So that's what got me started down this path. And that was in early 2012. From there, that summer, I actually went to Africa. And this is where the idea really expanded. Because I was able to see people there who had smartphones that did not have running water. And it just blew my mind. It made me really realize this is something that's much bigger than dental students. This is something that's much bigger than Iowa. This is something that can empower people all around the world. And why is no one tapping into this technology? At that point, I was in my 7th out of 8 years of dental school. And I decided to leave school. I called my parents as I was driving to the dean's office. And needless to say, they were not thrilled. And so but I was more determined than ever. I felt like from what I had seen, education is the best way to impact people, to change people's lives, and that we can do this by leveraging the mobile technology. At that point, so that was in 2012, we got things launched, we started to get some traction, and that's when we started talking with the EDC. And in our talks with the EDC, we had several incredibly important realizations that, you know, in those early days of a company, when you change something, it can entirely make it in a different outcome, even if it's only a few degree change. And a few of those that we realized was, number one, really how to analyze our business financially. Contribution margins is what we started talking through right away. And it was something that, having come from dental school, I wasn't entirely familiar with, but realized it was an incredibly effective way for us to analyze each of the mobile learning apps that we had out there in the market, and to be able to tell how well they were doing and how much we should invest in them. And that's how we manage our entire business today. We look at each product through that methodology that was introduced to us through the EDC. Another incredibly important realization we had was around how having that user throughout their entire lifelong learning journey was an incredibly powerful position to be in. And that by having that user is more important than just one product here, one product there, that having a really strategic look at our business could make it so we could optimize and grow our business in the most effective way. So those were two critical insights that we received from the EDC, amongst many more. And where that brought us to today we now have over 80 mobile learning applications. We have about 700,000 unique users per month who are using our product from every single country in the world. We've generated millions of dollars in revenue and raised millions of dollars in investment capital. And we have a team of 40 people from this area who've really come together. And I believe, even though, according to Kurt's chart that he put up in the beginning, we're starting to move into that later stage of company, I believe we're just getting started. And that with mobile learning, we have something that can truly empower professionals all over the world and be there with them from the moment they start their career, helping them get into school, helping them while they're in school, becoming the modern textbook, helping them with their high-stakes exams and credentialing exams, and through continuing education. And with our platform, we already are the leader in the mobile learning space. And as I said, I believe we're just getting started. And everyone in this room that supported the EDC, and really this whole community, we would not be able to be here without that. And you know, having started from that place of really knowing nothing, there's so many people who've been a part of this journey and that have made this possible. So I don't look at this as something that I've started and grown, or that myself and our co-founder started and grown. I look at it as something that's a product of this community and a product of everybody in this room who's helped support us, whether directly or indirectly. So I want to thank you all for that, and thank you for inviting me today. And I would like to introduce Jason.
First of all, when Kurt asked me to do this, I don't think I understood I was going to be following all those amazing stories and professional speakers. So I'm a computer geek, not a presenter. All right, so my name is Jason Weiss. I'm co-founder of Collective Data. And the short story of what that is we provide fleet and asset management software to organizations. Typically we work with municipalities, construction companies, utilities. Think of any organization that has a large number of complex, high demand, mission critical vehicles and equipment. So we manage every aspect, all the details that go with that. And so you can probably all imagine that and as we're seeing here, there's a lot of different types of founders, a lot of different backgrounds and experiences. And that is why it's really important to have an organization like the EDC available. So in my particular case, I'm that also idea person, don't like to get into the details of things, focus on the product and design. I try to find problems and try to solve them. They might not be really problems anybody else, but if I find it, that's what I'm focused on. So in fact, I was the nerd that was hacking out code at the age of 10. And I knew I wanted to run a company shortly thereafter. And so, of course, I had absolutely no idea what that means, or meant at the time, and I don't know if I do yet. But I found a business partner in 1997, and we dived headfirst into entrepreneurship. And definitely, there was a lot of learning that had to go on. We learned day by day. He was responsible for the business, I was responsible for the product. And I think the pressure of growing a business, hiring employees, and everything that goes with that started to mount between us. And at some point, I found myself learning collective data on my own in 2008 after I purchased him out. But even then, I still focused mostly on the product because that is, and was, and still is, really my passion. But as you know, it takes a lot more than a good product to manage a business. And so it was with the EDC that they helped me to kind of find some of that balance. So when it comes to some of the little things like how do you market the products and services that you have? How do you build a sales team so you can effectively get in front of the right people? How do you manage the budgets and make sure that you can scale the business? Little things like that are definitely pretty important, and they helped me keep that balance going. So anyway, I started working with the EDC about 10 years ago, and I guess I just want to point out that at that time, the number 1, number 2, and number 3 priority I had was cash flow. That was the only thing I was really focused on at that point. Now we're cash flow positive, we're making a profit, we have over 20 employees, wonderful staff by the way, that we just relocated the Newbo district, just across the street from Geometric. Plenty more space, we're looking to hire additional staff at the moment, so we're definitely in that growth stage. And I just want to share one really specific example of how the EDC played a significant role with collective data. I'm sure y'all remember back in 2009 when the economy literally just kind of fell apart from underneath us. And certainly we were not immune to that. Municipalities that we were working with, they lost their funding. Construction companies with their public works projects were just canceled right on. And so the revenue definitely dropped for a short bit. And I remember walking through the downtown Cedar Rapids skywalk system. We just relocated downtown not that long before this. And I started having this moment of panic and just like, I'm over my head here. So I remember calling up Kurt, and he very calmly invited me over into his office. And we worked through all the details of what was going on, and I explained everything. And he helped me come up with a plan and to work through. And short story is, we made payroll that month. We made payroll every month after that. Of course, it required very, very difficult decisions and execution. But it's those types of things that the EDC provides when you're not even expecting that you need it, that really plays a big, significant role. So I just want to thank everybody in this room and everybody else that supports the EDC, because I know that, I might not have a company if they didn't exist, but certainly with having a company, my company's better, and I'm certainly better for having the EDC around to support me as we grow. So thank you very much. With that, I'd like to introduce Gary Rowland.
Good afternoon. I appreciate the chance to tell you about JTech Associates, my company, and how the EDC has helped JTech and me personally. Unlike the speakers before me, I did not start a business from scratch. I came to JTech after it had been in business about 20 years, when they were in a growth mode and looking for an experienced financial manager. In the early years of JTech's existence, it served several markets through the design and manufacturing and sale of flow measurement products used in the automotive engine testing, industrial process control, and mining markets. The same core technology was also used in the design of military sensors, such as the crosswind sensor used on the M1 tank, of which we've built over 17,000 to help in the accuracy of the big gun. It's also used in the design of an Apache helicopter weapon system. To fully utilize the design and manufacturing capabilities of the company, it also took on design contracts to design things like wheel alignment systems for the automotive market and the process control system for Bandag's tire retreading business. It also got into contract manufacturing as well of miscellaneous electronic products. No, things started going bad as our unfocused growth plan caused us to have cash flow problems. We went out to our existing investors looking for additional financing and found they were unwilling to invest more in JTech. That forced us to downsize, and our bank in turn forced us into Chapter 11 reorganization. While in the process of reorganizing, it was painful, but in retrospect, it was the best thing that could happen for the company. It caused us to focus on our core technology customers, get out of things we shouldn't have been into, and return to profitability. It was during this transition that I was asked to take over leadership of the company. We became a stable, profitable company and a good source for local jobs. Over 6 years ago, when I had an executive opening in the sales department, I sought the help of EDC to fill that opening. After filling that opening, I also decided to use the EDC to develop a deferred compensation plan to ensure the stability of my management team. I've had that plan in place for over 5 years and it's worked out very well. With JTech's ongoing success, I decided to start investing in the venture capital area. And I started that in 2002 by being part of a group of about a dozen individuals who formed the Eastern Iowa Angel Investors and invested as a group in small startup companies in the local area. I also recently after that started investing through the Iowa Seed Fund 2 and the Next Level Innovation Fund. In addition to those funds where I invested in companies, I also individually was an angel investor in several companies over the years, fostering business growth locally. When people ask me why I choose to stick my neck out and invest in small startups, there are a few reasons. One is I like to learn about new technology. Another is I hope to be one who invests in the next Microsoft or another high-growth, high-profit company. And third, I like to share my business experience with startups who might need some counseling and guidance. I look at venture investing as a full circle for me. I started out with a large, stable company, John Deere, then I moved to a small, struggling company, and now I like to foster the growth of startups and growing companies by personally investing in them. In the process of investing in businesses that are also receiving support from the EDC, I have come to know and appreciate the quality talent and intense dedication the team at the EDC brings to their clients. A combination of passion, compassion, and a serious depth of knowledge. They go far beyond simply providing advice. They dig in and become part of the team. And from my experience, become vested in those business entities. Not only have I benefited from the expertise and services of the EDC and invested in their clients, but I also invest in the mission of the EDC by supporting their annual operating costs through annual contributions. And I thank the people here who are also doing the same. I feel very strongly that without the EDC, a lot of the local successful startups would not be what they are today. Thank you.
I think another round of applause for all the presenters. Gary Rowling, I'm sorry he couldn't be here. He had to go away for a convention, so he said, now we'll put you on videotape then. He's an example of what really generates compounding economic growth. Right? So he's a business owner creating success and reinvesting that success in multiple other companies who then can in turn do the same thing and keep passing that money and experience on. Right? And as a community, we're grateful for Gary and many others like Gary that we've come to know over these years for, from my perspective, quietly fueling our area's entrepreneurial ecosystem. So in closing, so since our founding, we've grown and enhanced our product offering to optimally serve Iowa's entrepreneurs and to serve all of you as our stakeholders. The success created really is a result of executing well on a valid market need, and that goes for our business and it goes for the businesses that we support. The work and time that we invest in Iowa companies is gratifying because the impact can be seen in the improved business performance as well as in the eyes of the entrepreneurs themselves. Our success is absolutely defined by the businesses and individuals for which we provide support. As stakeholders, we hope that you're proud to support an organization with a strong track record, but far above that, we truly hope you're most proud of the support you have provided to Iowa's entrepreneurs. and increased economic vitality that these risk takers are producing for our communities and our families. Now, for the support you've provided as we have grown, and hopefully will continue to provide going into the future, and on behalf of the 900 entrepreneurs that we've benefited from all of your generosity, let me just say thank you very much. That's all for today. Christy would hit me if I didn't say, I want to see you all at the Innovation Expo. We changed the date to accommodate another statewide organization and not conflict with their program, so it's